Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know why those guys at the United Nations are voting anymore, since their vote means nothing. And why? Because when they vote to condemn, let's say, certain countries, and nothing happened. When they vote to condemn other countries, sanctions happen. Why is that? And I'm talking about, for instance, like a double standard. Let's say Israel. Everybody can vote and condemn Israel for occupation, which happened about a week ago. Anything happened? No. They, again, voted to have Israel get rid of its nuclear weapons. Anything happened? No. Now we find that Russia must pay reparations to Ukraine. So, ready? And what do you think is going to happen? Nothing. So, this article comes from Ukrainska Pravda, and it says the UN General Assembly adopts resolution on compensation for damage caused by Russia's aggression. At a special session, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution prepared by Ukraine and co-sponsored by about 50 other states. Those are the weasel states that are part of the club. They want to be part of the club. They don't want to be part of the United States' club, But it's about 50. That's how 40, 50. That's where they move. This is the direct influence the United States has globally. The rest, So, by about 50 other states, which calls on Russia to pay compensation for the damage caused by its full-scale invasion. European Pravda citing Ukraine form. The resolution was supported by 94 countries. 14 states voted against and 73 abstained from voting. So they would get to 87, right? 94 to 87. All right. So let's see the ones that voted against. Bahamas, Belarus, Central African Republic, China, Cuba, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Iran, Mali, Nicaragua, North Korea, Russia, Syria, and Zimbabwe. Voting 73 abstained from voting. The UN countries that supported the document recognized that the Russian, and I'm quoting, the Russian Federation must be held to account for any violations of international law in or against Ukraine, including its aggression in violation of the Charter of United Nations, as well as any violations of international humanitarian law and international human rights law, and that it must bear the legal consequences of all its internationally wrongful acts, including making reparations for the injury, including any damage caused by such acts. Well. The problem is we have here another guy, and that guy is Medvedev. And Medvedev said, as a response, I guess, UN should force US to make reparations for many countries. Medvedev, this little feisty little dude, too much light. Medvedev anyway. So let's see what this guy is saying. Commenting on the United Nations General Assembly resolution, Medvedev said that it is about time for the US to make reparations for all the damage inflicted on Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Yugoslavia, and other countries. The deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, stated on Monday that the United Nations General Assembly should now demand that the United States make up for the harm it caused to Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Yugoslavia, and other nations after passing the resolution on Russia's quote-unquote reparations to Ukraine. In response to the UN voting on the resolution recognizing the necessity of establishing a mechanism for the reparation, this article comes from, I forgot to mention, Al Mayadeen. Okay, so Arab media outlet. In response to the UN voting on the resolution recognizing the necessity of establishing a mechanism for the reparations of damage done by Russia to Ukraine, he wrote on his Telegram channel, and I'm quoting, they should adopt the same recommendation on total reparation of the damage inflicted by the United States on Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Yugoslavia, and many other countries that suffered from the Americans and NATO. I think it's right. If we apply the law, right? And we vote, let's vote. Otherwise, and I'm quoting, it looks like the beginning of the United Nations agony as a key international institution for reconciliation, he stressed. And I'm quoting again, the end will be painful for the entire international community. We will do without such a United Nations organizations. What did I tell you? The Russians will break the United Nations. They will create their own United Nations together with the second club that's most likely, it's in formation right now with China, India, and probably on the BRICS foundation. Or they will just say, you know what, we're out. Screw you. We'll see. At least Medvedev says that. So the resolution is meant to legalize the West's plan to use Russia's frozen assets, according to Medvedev, adding that the I'm quoting, the Anglo-Saxons are obviously seeking to scrape up a legal basis for stealing illegally arrested Russian assets. Unquote. I think so. The United Nations General Assembly emergency session adopted a resolution on Monday recognizing the need for a loss reparation mechanism and creating a global registry of alleged Russian damage to Ukraine. And say 94 countries voted for the document, while 14 against, 73 abstained. This comes after the United States Treasury Department announced on Monday that the U.S. has imposed new anti-Russian sanctions on 14 individuals and 28 entities. Today, the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, alongside with the U.S. Department of State, sanctioned a transnational network procuring technologies that support the Russian military-industrial complex, the U.S. Treasury said in a release. In total, today's action designated 14 individuals and 28 entities and identified 8 aircraft as blocked properties, it added. Very good, very good. Very good, I guess. It works that way. So I think Medvedev was right. Well, let's start with those ones. And while we are at it, let's go and get some criminals, war criminals dug out. And that is the one who dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 cities, civilian. Okay, that's a war crime right there, definition. Okay, 2, and that's terrorism as well, because when you use force to change the political direction of a country, that's exactly terrorism. I terrorize you until you do what I'm telling you to do. The same here. I'm going to blow one after another. That's what I said. I'm going to blow up all the next cities in Japan until you guys stop fighting the war and you surrender unconditionally. That means nothing, 0. You can't say anything about it. So that's kind of like terror, and then it's hitting civilians, war crime. So yeah, let's go to that first, and then while we are at it, we can come little by, I don't know, year 3529, we get to Russia and Ukraine today. I'm for it. I'm for justice, but I don't like selective justice. I like across the board justice. Okay? Okay? Okay. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.